welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is just, for the last 2 weeks, been staring across at this amazing spectacle of fallen branches that he already discovered. Having found this ledge, he's loath to leave it, frankly, not knowing exactly where he's supposed to go next. But, yeah, so... never mind. I'm trying to make sense of this question. So, okay, no, all right. So... the fallen branches, I'm not sure what that has to do with any, because now I'm supposed to search for some sign of the Elder Huorn. Okay. Which I've done by those branches which I already was standing on previously, but now that I've seen them from this unique vantage point, I'm supposed to do what exactly? I'm going up there, right? Okay, fine. Okay. Hey everybody. So I'm jumping off the cliff here. Hang on. There we go. All right. Gryfflet's going to go around and he's going to look for signs of an Elder Huorn. Good to see everybody back this morning. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. I had totally forgotten even to mention the week before because I had utterly forgotten that the next Friday was the Friday of Thanksgiving week, and I was busy with family stuff. So, anyway, but, oh, it's that notorious flower quest which Gryfflet is avoiding. Or deed. Is it a deed or a quest? There's a quest ring on it. No. It's the quest ring is actually for Leaflock, who's right behind the flower. Right. Okay. Fine. All right. So... good. All right. But yeah, flower's a deed, and I've emancipated Gryfflet from having to do deeds. See, I have a strong completionist tendency myself. Yeah, I hate to leave anything undone in the game. But I have decided that Gryfflet he's already being completionist when it comes to the quests. Even down to the completion of Hütbold, of course, as you will recall. So... and that, I think, is quite enough completionism for one stream. Watching me go around and, like, grind Slayer deeds is just not anyone's idea of a good time, I don't think. All right, here we are back on the road. Excellent. So it's just what I was looking for. Take a left. All right. Going, hey, Maven, good to see you again. Hey, okay, so I also saw that you guys were having a lively lore discussion when I came in, that is when I came into the chat, about this recent question from a string of numbers, well, the letter B and then a string of numbers, which is, when Aragorn becomes king, are he and Éomer now peers, or is Aragorn the political head of Gondor and Rohan? Looking at the political reality starting at the start of the Fourth Age specifically. A joint question with Lil Redhead 42. So, yeah, that's a great question. Yes. So so keep in mind that the Oath of Eorl was sworn with Cirion, of course, the steward. And therefore is sort of technically not binding. In a sense, it's kind of done because the stewards are no longer ruling. Like so the heir of Cirion no longer has any authority to grant, that land to the Rohirrim. So with a new king coming into reign, if that king were so minded, he could take Calenarthon back and be like, Calenarthon is a province of Gondor. Thank you, like, squatters, get out. Like, obviously, he's not gonna do that. That would be ridiculously foolish in any kind of political context, especially given, you know, the assistance of the Rohirrim in helping him to have a kingdom to rule, not to mention, of course, the personal friendship between him and Éomer. So I'm not actually suggesting, of course, that Aragorn would do anything of the sort. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I'm finding something. Oh, a dead Huorn impaled by frost spikes. Nothing remains near the Elder Huorn's home but a younger, dead Huorn. Okay. I talked this over with Mossbeard. Hey, Mossbeard. Okay. Let's see. A Huorn frozen to the earth? What other horrors have the Orcs and Núrzum visited upon this forest? Wait, little one. With what little life remains, the Huorn is trying to speak to me. Oh, dear. Oh, we have like a dramatic death soliloquy by a Huorn? Mossbeard creaks with fear as he listens to the Huorn. Brundoron is slain, Gryfflet. We must return to the others at once. As we travel, I will tell you more of what this Huorn has seen, my friend, but we must make haste to Stonecliff. Make haste. When an Ent tells you to make haste, you make haste. Do you have a quest ring over your head right now? Yes, you do. Okay, your head is so far up I can't see. Not so long ago, this forest spread wide and healthy, unfettered by the assaults of Orcs and Núrzum. Those that dwelt within were mighty, and took root among one another. That sounds vaguely scandalous. One of the greatest of the Huorns is in all of Fangorn, Brundoron. Once dwelt where the White Hand's camp now stands. I am sure you think you know the ending of this story, little one, for there is no mistaking what you have seen at my side. What, those fallen branches? However, the trees have spoken to me of darker things, and though hewn, Brundoron's story is far from over. Wait, he's been hewn, so those were his branches? Before we can return to Barlos to speak of Brundoron's fate, you must first understand how the Huorn met its end and how the cowardice of Orcs has shaped this forest and beyond since that day. Okay. I'm looking forward to this. Mossbeard. Let's do this. I have much to tell of the coming of the White Hand and those that suffered them. Them? The Orcs? I thought this was going to be... For a second there, I thought this was going to be a Saruman-specific story. Okay.
After conversing with the trees of Balewood, Mossbeard has learned horrifying truths of Núrzum's origins and the fate of the Elder Huorn, Brundoron.
Nice. Oh, the origins. Fantastic. I am so ready, Mossbeard. Who just keeled over there? There was somebody just keeling over when I came in. Didn't get to see who it was. Anyway, I'll come back to the political realities of Gondor and Rohan after, but this is important. This is the story I've been waiting for. Viler truths I have seldom known, Gryfflet. The others must know of these happenings soon, but you must understand as well if you are to continue to aid us. Where the Orc camp now lies, once stood a bold Huorn, one of the very greatest in this forest. My memories of those days are as clear as ever they have been, but they are tainted by the knowledge I have gained from the trees. Let me tell you of the Huorn's fate. Okay. I have learned a great many things from the trees. Many things were as I feared, and some were far worse yet. I have much to tell and little time to tell it, so let us begin. Okay. I can't see your text. I'm just going to have to look down here. Deep in these woods, there once lived a great Huorn called Brundoron. A more well-behaved Huorn than most. Leaflock's tending was never much needed, and its roots grew thick into the heart of the forest. Brundoron took root, unbothered by the affairs of Ents or men, but the pursuit of Orcs were not so easily ignored. Okay. And so came the day that the Orcs invaded. At defiling the forest and preparing to besiege the lands of men, Brundoron had long lain dormant, but that time had come to an end. Okay, right. We made it, boys. We're close enough to the forest's edge now. We make camp here. Okay, maybe not so many floaty names. Once we cut one more tree down for the wizard. We have to cart this back to Isengard soon, or Saruman will have my head. You're going to cart that tree back? Uh-oh. Oh, impaled by a root. Oh, dear. This is no tree. Knock it down before I crush your skull. Oh, boy. Well, he is rather a largish Huorn. Okay. You're supposed to tread on them. That's the approved method. Use your feet, not your head, Mr. Huorn. Brundoron. Uh-oh, there comes everybody. Oh, man. We can't help the poor, ginormous Huorn. Am I supposed to attack? No, I'm just listening. I'm supposed to be listening. This is a dramatic reenactment. This is not live action. Okay. So it continues to bash his entire canopy against the Orcs. More and more Orcs flying in and flying back. Okay. Can we skip a bit, Mossbeard? so they attacked for a long time. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. It almost fell right on me. That would have been awkward. Is it dead? How shall I tell him a tree devastated his forces? Who says you have to tell the wizard? Okay. You are a wise orc. I shall tell him my forces remain here with me. And you will return to Isengard with the tree. Except first throw some branches down a random cliff. Not far from here, so that a hobbit can one day see them from a particular vantage point. He doesn't actually say that. It's implied. Okay. So the orcs came in and killed Brundoron. Except there's more to this story. Oh, okay, sorry, Mossbeard. Try to... I've told you but half of what there is to tell, for far grimmer tales remain. Let us leave this place and return to Barolos. That's it? That's the origin story? Of what? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Are we gonna zap? I'm in Enting Hollow. We did zap. Better whistle up Mossbeard. Hey, Mossbeard. As I've told you, little one, there remains much to be told. Oh, good. But it must wait until we reunite with Barolos and the others. They know much of Brundoron and the Huorn's end, but in the times between then and their awakening they have missed many unsettling details. We must travel to them at once, for both you and the others must know the Huorn's fate and the true wrath, unknowing or not, that has been levied upon this forest. Levied? That's an interesting verb. Okay, Stone Cliff. Back to Stone Cliff. Okay, so there's no point in stealthing myself because I have a giant ant. Oh, sorry. I'm in walk mode. That's why I'm going so slowly. Okay. So, back to politics then. As I say, Aragorn doesn't have to recognize it at all. Like, not at all. There's no political demand upon that because the oath was taken with Cirion. However, we are specifically told that Aragorn re-swears the oath of Eorl. He and Éomer swear the oath of Eorl again. They reinstate it. And this is an act. This is one of several. Cliff. How about that? This is one of several very humble acts that that Aragorn undertakes as king. For instance, the rule about the big folk not entering the Shire, which he himself honors, is another one of them. Right? He doesn't have to do any of those things. But he does. He doesn't have to do any of those things, but he does. It's fairly so. He does restore the North Kingdom. He does. Oh, come on. He does restore the North Kingdom. He does reestablish, confirm the kingdom of Rohan. He doesn't reclaim Calenarthon. Of course, again, he could, but he doesn't. He does a lot of things that he doesn't have to do, but they're like the right thing to do. It does Éomer swear fealty to Gondor? No, they swear friendship together. Again, Aragorn absolutely could have reinstated an oath in that way. He could say, well, like, I'm the king. You are a subject king within my domain, right? So, you hold your lands under me. Like, that would have been perfectly okay. I'm at Stonecliff, except I'm apparently not at Stonecliff. So he could absolutely have said that, but he doesn't say that. Instead, he re-swears the oath of Eorl. He reiterates the oath of Eorl. And the significance there is that it's an oath of friendship, of mutual alliance with each other, right? That's what Cirion did. What Cirion, the steward, had done was establish them as an independent kingdom who has oaths of friendship with Gondor, which is totally different, right? They're just, again, so he does reestablish, solemnize, perpetuate, however you want to say it, the old status of Rohan, but not as a subject king, as a separate kingdom, which is with therefore, standing equal to his. He didn't have to do that. He could have contrived it in other ways. With Cirion, it was cunning, right? It was a cunning move on Cirion's part because the power of Gondor was on the wane. And he did it in order to establish a strong ally on their northern front, right? I mean, it was a very, very smart move for Cirion to do. It cost him very little. Calenarthon wasn't worth all that much anyway, whereas the kingdom of Rohan, that friendly nation to the north of him, was worth a very great deal to him and to others afterwards. Aragorn, again, he didn't have to do it, but he did, and in some ways you could say that he has less to gain from it, practically speaking. It's less of a shrewd move on Aragorn's part as it was on Cirion's, and more of a generous move on Aragorn's part, I would say, because he is. It would be natural, I think, especially since Gondor is now, on the rise again after Aragorn becomes king. You could, there are some who, thinking, shrewdly and practically, could say that it was a bad move on Aragorn's part, right? I mean, he could have, sort of kept that, like he could have had them paying taxes, right, to Gondor. He could have levied some kind of, tribute from them, financially speaking. That would have been, and it would have been very natural for that to be a subject kingdom under the much larger rule, sort of under the much larger umbrella of Gondor. But that's not how he chose to play it. Instead, he just reiterates the Oath of Eorl. And again, as I say, it's typical. Even his, sort of hands-off Bree policy, right? He's not going to come in and change Bree. He could. Bree is in his bounds also, right? But he's not gonna go up and he's not gonna mess with the prancing pony or its beer, right? He's gonna go along with that. So, there you go. Right, Ethelod was just quoting from the oath. Right, between us and the great people of the West, there shall be friendship forever. This is the Rohirrim part. Their enemies shall be our enemies. Their need shall be our need. And whatsoever evil or threat or assault may come upon them, we will aid them to the utmost of our strength. Right, that's the oath of friendship. We will be allies and friends together. There shall be friendship. That's really important. Anyway, so this is... Madman Malawar, I do mean humble. I mean humble in the sense that what he does is humble, in the sense that he does not seek his own power, nor does he seek the expansion and glory of the kingdom of Gondor. What we chiefly see him do, repeatedly, in sequence, is him going about taking, lands that were once within the kingdom of Gondor, and instead of reclaiming them, he sets them free, right? He removes them from Gondor. First with Rohan, which is a really big deal. Then even with the Druidon Forest, remember, he gives it, he gives it away, right? This shall belong to Hanmaruchan and the rest of the Woses. And he does the same thing with the Shire. Right, the Shire is now autonomous. I declare the Shire autonomous. He goes and he doesn't we don't hear a decree about Bree, but anyway, I mean his acts as king are not about amassing power and restoring Gondor to its former glory. Instead, his acts of king are to immediately begin removing chunks of even Faramir, right? By calling him the Prince of Ithilien. Prince is an important role, right? I mean, that means he is essentially establishing Ithilien as an independent kingdom, with Faramir as its prince. Don't forget that prince, sometimes people think of prince as meaning only the person who is in line to be king someday, but that's not the primary use of the term. Prince, when the word prince is sort of used generally, it has usually meant ruler, especially in. They used to talk this way, especially back in the 16th century. people, you'll see lots of people referring to like the power of princes, which doesn't mean what authority does the heir to the crown have. It's talking about the king, right? Faramir is made a prince, which means that Ithilien is at least going to become semi-autonomous from the crown. He is going to be the ruler over that land. Absolutely. Yawahe, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name there, but Prince Imrahil, right? He's a prince as well. Dol Amroth is also a semi-independent little kingdom down there. They're actually a really interesting illustration, because Prince Imrahil does hold Aragorn to be his liege lord, right? So they are. Dol Amroth does seem to be. It does seem to be a semi-independent state, or else he wouldn't be called prince. But it does seem to be a sort of subject kingdom under Gondor. And so I would presume, with the parallel of the title, Prince Faramir and Prince Imrahil, that's the same thing that he's doing. He's not actually declaring Ithilien wholly independent of the Gondorian throne, like he does do with Rohan, again reiterating the oath of friendship rather than any kind of oath of fealty. Anyway, so Phil asks, when does a principality become a kingdom? When it after a civil war, usually, when it declares independence. Anyway, so all of these, again, the pattern, though, as I say, of Aragorn's actions of his political actions as king, how I would characterize his actions is humility, right? I mean, he does not seek to glorify himself or to expand or glorify Gondor in his actions. He is elevating others, but not even in the way that you could argue with Faramir that he does this, that he elevates Faramir in a particular way to increase his loyalty to the crown, right? That's sort of the normal thing. To reward those, to reward your underlings when you become king is normal, right? There's nothing particularly humble or unusually honorable in that. You want to put your supporters into positions of power normally when you become king, right? But what he does, the general pattern of what he does is different. He doesn't, even with Faramir, right? With Faramir, he doesn't put him in an important position within Gondor. He creates a new position for him, right? He creates a new spot for him. But in so many other cases, most notably with Rohan, but also with the Shire, and even the Druidon Forest, he takes these chunks of places that were part of their kingdom, and he sets them free, and removes them from the sovereign power, from under the sovereign power of Gondor. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that answers the question. Okay, right. The question about Annúminas. I believe that the idea that the ruins of Annúminas are drowned is a Lotro invention. I don't recall any reference to that in the text. There's very little about that. Aragorn does rebuild Annúminas. That's his goal, not to rebuild Fornost, right? He doesn't want to reestablish his rule at Fornost. He wants to reestablish his rule at Annúminas. That was the city of the kings, of course. That is Elendil's city, and that's what he wants to rebuild. And as we've seen, of course, we were looking at this a lot during Narnian's field trips, during exploring the Lord of the Ring, his field trips around the Lotro world. Annúminas is a peaceful pleasure city, whereas Fornost is a stronghold in time of war. He is reestablishing the peaceful center of the North Kingdom that Elendo established when he first landed, and thought that war was done. Because, again, one of the silver linings of the fall of Númenor, which is a silver lining on a really, really terrible event for the Númenorian exiles, was that at least Sauron was destroyed, right? So everything might be horrible and their homeland might be gone forever, but at least their enemy went down with it, right? So that's something. Anyway, so yeah. First of all, can I just say these Ents are remarkably fidgety, right? I should probably get to them because I don't know how patient they're going to be here. I love how they keep stretching. It's like I'm boring the Ents, right? That's really a bad look. It really is. I mean, or maybe I should put that on my resume, right? Like, once talked for so long that the Ents got fidgety and restless. Look, they're all stretching at once. Like, oh man, please, can we get on with this already? Sorry. I know, right? It is a high bar, Little Redhead. I think, actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm more confident that I should be proud of that. Okay. Oh, hang on. Now I'm supposed to summon Mossbeard. Hey, Mossbeard. Here we are. Everybody's waiting for Mossbeard. Isn't he already standing over there? I can't. I'm like right under him. He kind of appears right in my... help me. Right in my personal space. Okay. Anyway, here we are. Yikes. Okay. A journey it has been, Gryfflet. Baralas and the others have much to learn of the monster, as do you still. Yeah, I sure do. Allow me to gather my thoughts, for this trip has been far more eventful than most things in this Ent's lifetime. Baralas looks as if he wants to speak to you. You should see what he has to tell, and I shall begin to take root here. Where? I think you were already there, right? That's... I can't... It's snowing. I can't see my cursor. I always have this problem. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, that was Mossbeard the whole time. I thought so. He was just standing here beside himself. Okay. Baralas. Let us do the story. Can I talk to you from over here? No. You have returned with Mossbeard. I knew you would not disappoint us, little one. I am joyful to look upon him again, but in his eyes I see great distress. Mossbeard wishes to speak with all of us, does he? Well then, let us hear your tale. Excellent. I completed a Friend of the Woods. I completed Quest of the Balewood. All right, that's the one deed I do insist on completing. All right. And so, little one, Brundoron was taken by the Orcs. Núrzum had wandered in these woods some time before this happening, you see. He was then but a stone giant. And had not much interest in the destruction of any creature of nature. His curiosity of the men was his only reason for venturing into Wildermoor, but when he was grievously wounded and chased from their lands, the other Ents and I thought him gone from our forest. Okay, wait. So, who wounded him? Hang on, how am I forgetting that part of the story? So, he came down, he was just a stone giant, and that's why he looks sort of like a construct, because we are sort of changing the idea of stone giants, which I like, by the way. Okay. So he wandered in. Who attacked him originally? Was it the men of Rohan chased him off? Something about a horn? Yeah, the Rohirrim horns hurt him, something like that. Yeah, I didn't understand that. I definitely recall not understanding that. But anyway, so he was wounded. Not the horns, but the Huorns. No, there was a horn, not a Huorn. I mean, there are Huorns also, but there was an actual horn that I was told was important, and I was like, whose horn? And I didn't even know. Okay, so the men of Rohan objected to the big giant tromping around, and they ran him off. Yeah, it was Thrum's horn. That's what I thought. Except I found Thrum's horn and returned it. Okay. Well, let's just continue the story, Mossbeard. I have learned much of Nurzum from these trees. When you are ready, I shall tell you what I know. I am so ready.
The Ent Mossbeard wishes to tell you more of what he has learned from the trees of Balewood. Nurzum's might stems not from within, but from the vile stone upon his back, granted to him by a powerful benefactor.
Aha. Okay. Now we come to it. The rest of my tale begins where Brundoron fell, though since that tragic day much time had passed and many more trees had fallen to shape the walls of their disgraceful camp. It is clear now that Nurzum's ally was no better than those he harbored within these walls, though far more mighty. When you are ready, little one, I will tell you what I know of Nurzum, and how he came to possess such a stone. Okay. At their crude camp, where remains of Brundoron's roots had still hewn the earth, Nurzum stood amongst fearful orcs. Okay, there he is. His wrath was not yet visited on the forest directly, but the stone he carried upon his back had already brought thick snowfall to the lands about him. Nurzum stood waiting, not knowing when his friend would arrive, and lost in what he was to do with his newfound might. Okay, so poor Nurzum didn't know what to do. In the distance, the harsh weather seemed to split as a man strode forth through the snowfall. As the snow swirled around him, the man's robe seemed to shimmer with myriad colors, and Nurzum knew at once his powerful ally had returned. Okay. Right, but we're still concealing the presence of the Huorn. Long has it been, my large friend. How long, though, Saruman? It has. I returned to the forest as you bid me, and I am prepared to stand against those that would oppose me. Tell me, Nurzum, have you come to appreciate this opportunity, the gifts I have bestowed upon you? Gifts? What gifts, wizard? Even my own kind would not look upon me now. Yes, you've been hideously corrupted. You are not of your kind any longer, Nurzum. You knew as much when I came upon you in this forest, wounded and lost as you were. Okay. I have done naught but fulfill everything promised to you. I asked for the strength to survive my wounds, the ability to return to the cold of the misty mountains, and the chance to seek revenge against the men that harried me in my travels. Where then have I failed? All of those are within your grasp now. I gave you strength through the roots that now wind about your stones. Roots, huh? I granted you a snow-covered home no matter where your travels take you, and the men, they cannot stand against you any longer. The roots of Brundoron? Your words are convincing, wizard, of that there is no doubt. Yeah, he's pretty famous for that. You are something far greater than before, but you must remember, my friend, that you serve me. What would you ask of me before I make these lands my home? You will slay the leaders of this land to the last. Kunigar, Aldstan, the knight Thrum. Remember them well. If you ever see Thrum, huck him as far as you can. As for the Reeve Garwig, leave his family in shambles. Slay Garnoth, Edsig, Garfirth, Cuthbald, Garsig. You taking notes, Nurzum? Their names sound really similar. Just anybody whose name begins with Gar, kill him except for one. Leave him in ruin, and never let him again pose a threat. That is all I ask of you, Nurzum. Okay. It shall be done, master. Let these puny men regret the day they pushed me from their lands. As I had hoped, friend. Now journey through the forest and visit your frozen terror upon all that would stand against you. May all of Rohan freeze in your wake. Okay. Off he goes. Do I have to talk to Mossbeard again? Yes, I do. Good! That gives me a chance to look around. Hey, Saruman. What's up with you? Okay. Looking at your oh well, didn't get too much chance to look at you. Hey, Nurzum. Never going to get a chance like this again. Okay, so the roots. Yes. I thought I saw I wasn't sure before because I didn't really get a chance to look at him this closely before. But the twigs that are sticking out of his temples up there and his back and stuff, you can see him in his arms. So he's got the roots. One wonders if that is how he was healed. So like the living roots of Brúndoron the Huorn are winding through him. And then he's got, the frost stone. On his back. That's the artifact in question, right? So he was a stone giant who gets. So in the end, the story of Nurzum is a parallel, in a way, to the Uruk Hai, right? Just as Saruman took and combined the races of men and orcs in order to make the Uruk Hai, the men orcs and the orc men, both subspecies, he combines the Huorns and the stone giants to make a new hybrid creature more powerful than either one, again, like the Uruk Hai. But then he also supercharges it with this frost artifact that I would still kind of love to know, is this of Saruman's manufacture? Did he make the frost artifact? Which I suppose is possible. Or did he find it somehow? And if he did, where? Interesting. Okay. But yeah, the roots I wasn't understanding before. Again, I saw them on his arms. That's the one part I did spot. But you can see how he sort of must have looked as a stone giant, which of course, very different from the stone giants of the Misty Mountains. But I don't object to that at all. I like this version of, like a giant of stone, made out of stone, rather than merely the large humanoid giants, which I don't. Either one is actually kind of interesting, right? Like the tree men, as Tolkien called them originally, that is, men the size of trees, which is what we get, in the case of the stone giants of the Misty Mountains, up in the Trollshaws and whatnot, in the Misty Mountain region. That's a perfectly defensible way of depicting the giants from Tolkien's world, even though Tolkien kind of cut the giants from his world in the Lord of the Rings, but that's okay. Reinstating them is not a bad idea. But this kind of giant, kind of stone giant anyway, that what Nurzum was prior to this, to his hybridization, his upgrading, feels to me, I don't know, a little bit more right, actually. Because it combines the idea of giants, that is, men as tall as trees, with the idea of kind of elemental nature spirits throughout the world, which, again, seems to be an idea which really does lurk beneath the surface of a lot. We see it sometimes above the surface, but does seem to lurk through Middle-earth throughout anyway. But, okay. All right, Mossbeard. Now I understand. So you see now, Gryfflet, Núrzum returned to the forest, his wounds healed, his might bolstered, and lashed together by what remained of Brundoron. All he was tasked with in return for such wonders were the deaths of the men who had wronged him. How could he see the folly of his actions in the face of such a silver-tongued man? I know of this wizard, little one, for once Treebeard spoke of him with Leaflock in days long past. Always one to take knowledge, but never share it in return. You look as if you have met him too. Such times are so long past that I doubt he even remembers us amid whatever other chaos he now wreaks. Surely if the Orcs did not tell him of Brundoron's assault, he would not have thought much of using a tree in his foul experiments. His blindness to the forest may yet prove his monster's undoing, but we shall see yet. All right, Badalas, what do you think about this? Mossbeard has spoken true of many things over ages past, and as wild as his claims may be, I believe his tale. He has spoken to us further of the things the trees came to know of Núrzum's arrival in the forest, and what destruction he visited upon the creatures of this wood, and my friend Duskleaf. Núrzum's assault began to the west, upon the hill where Brundoron fell. Even the Orcs were terrified of his presence, and not one sought to follow him too closely in his trek through the woods to the forest's edge. Already he had drowned the surrounding lands in snow by bringing the stone into the forest, and the creatures of this wood knew well that something horrible had come with the winter's chill. Listen well, little one, and I shall tell you of how the forest rose and fell to Núrzum's might. Another story. Man, it's the Ent. Ooh, it's a session play. Do I get to session play as an Ent? No, I'm session playing as Núrzum? Really? That I did not see coming. Okay. Wow. Okay. I can't wait to see my skills. Always my favorite part of the session.
Sown discord throughout Wildemore.
Right.
But nowhere was the power of the stone felt greater than where his path of destruction began, deep in Balewood.
Okay. Let's see, what are my skills? Stomp. All right, fine. Núrzum raises his leg and prepares to crush the nearest foe. Okay. 33,000 damage. That'll do. Chilling sweep. He's no Thrum, but chilling sweep. A wide sweep that chills and knocks away all who stand against you. And power of the stone. That's a familiar icon. Where is that icon used elsewhere? I don't remember. I know I've seen it before, but I don't remember what it's attached to. Anyway, call on the power of the stone to freeze the land around you. Okay. Isengard Brute. Balewood Hewer. What am I carrying in my left hand? Oh, wait, I have a sword now? It's a bow. Yeah. Carrying a sword and a bow. Weird. Okay. Flurry of words. Okay. Flurry of words from the Runekeeper tree, right? Yeah. Okay. I knew I recognized it. Okay. Corruptors, hewers. Are you cowering or are you just standing? Okay, what am I meant to do? Leave Drew Vodka. Sorry, the text is tiny because we're in session play. And travel to the forest edge. Travel to the forest edge. Okay. I'm already at the forest edge. I've got 2 million morale points. Okay. No, the other way. To the forest edge. So, you mean deeper into the forest. A little misleading, the directions there, but okay. Here we go. All right, duck under the hanging ropes. Angry trees. Oh no. Unruly Huorns. We can't have that. Oh yeah? Have at you. I'm stomping Huorns. Oh, who'd... Okay. Oh, freezing. Yeah. I'm fighting Huorns. Tediously. Boy, Nurzum, as I recall, his stomping was a little more effective than this. Okay, here we go. How many unruly Huorns do I have to slay exactly? Defeat any that stand in your way. Oh dear. Unfortunately, there seem to be quite a number. All right, line up, trees. Boom. Wow, really knocks you back there too, huh? Okay. It looks like I'd better get a lore question queued up here. Okay. Right. Okay. So, Ivan asks, do I believe there was a migration of Gondorian people to the north to reunited Arnor after the war? It's an interesting question. Like, you know, Gandalf mentions that there's going to be an influx of people, right? And although, you know, like though Butterbur's not like so very keen on this, but he mentions that there's going to be folk living there again, and they have to come from somewhere. Now, on the one hand, I guess you could say we're gonna like gather up the Dunedain, right, from their campfires all over the place, and they're gonna like reestablish, you know, a kingdom again. But that's certainly not, you know, enough to, you know, build a whole city, essentially. So yes, I do think that's, but it's a little interesting because Gondor itself has been diminishing as well. More trees rising against me in the distance. Okay. I have to say this session play is a little disappointing so far. I'm just being attacked by trees and trolls. Okay. I was kind of hoping for slightly more narrative in this session play. But anyway, okay. Sorry. All right. I'll carry on stomping things until there aren't any things to stomp anymore. Right. So, oh, hang on. Somebody else? Excuse me. Oh, yes. There you are, Mr. Troll. Okay. Carry on. I'm just going to gather as many of them as I can. Let's be as efficient as possible about this. Since I'm not really worried about Núrzum dying. Or maybe, you know, if I can get him killed, that would be good, wouldn't it? I've got almost all of them. Wait, there's still one I haven't aggroed. Okay. Well, that's an angry bunch of trees right there. Okay, sorry. I'm just kind of mesmerized by this group of like 8 Huorns all standing in one place attacking me at once. Okay. Boom. Man, this is like me doing yard work. Okay. Yikes. Okay. Oh, Anna, thanks. I'm glad that you liked the Wired video. If it's a strange tree that wants to speak with me. Great. Let me just finish this last one off. Okay. Aha! It's Duskleaf. So it is down to you, and it is down to me. It's the late lamented Duskleaf. And I'm glad you really liked the video. That was a lot of fun to make. I had a lot of fun with the Wired folks. And there's actually, if I could tell you a secret, there is going to be a part 2 of the tech support video. There's definitely going to be another one. So I don't know when exactly it'll be released. It might not be for a little while, but it's definitely going to happen. Okay, Duskleaf. Not used to looking down at Ents, but here we are. What purpose could you have for such destruction, giant? Do you even understand what agony you have brought upon the creatures here? You tear the trees from the ground, you freeze the Huorns where they take root, and even the foul wood trolls are not spared your ire. My friends either lay sleeping in this winter you have buried us in, or they lack the courage to stand against you. But I do not. I shall not allow you any further in these woods, monster. I see what the others do not. Those roots that wind about you. Aha! But you remain only stone. I thought Duskleaf was killed by orcs. Oh man, I've got to recapitulate the killing of Duskleaf? That's kind of sad. Oh no, that's right. Duskleaf is the one that gets corrupted. Right. Not the one who got killed by orcs. Right, Gryfflet killed him. True. You spite nature itself? Okay. Are we going to smite him with... Uh-oh. Here come more trees. And trolls. Okay, so we're just going to... Alright. Right, Duskleaf is the one driven mad. Okay, I'm remembering now. Yeah. Cool. So anyway, so as for the Gondorians, I mean, it's tricky because again, there wouldn't have been over many of them, since they, I mean, their population was down even in Minas Tirith, as we saw. But I think my suspicion is that the population as a whole in Gondor was not necessarily low. I think that it was just residents in Minas Tirith. We're told about, remember all the empty streets and stuff, right, and everything? Our branches will crush you to pebbles, okay? Oh, here come more. So I think how we're supposed to take that is not necessarily that the population of Gondor is so much less now than it used to be, but rather that I'd say it's slightly satisfying to knock Huorn's back, that people had been leaving Minas Tirith, that it was a sign rather of the decline of confidence, right? Perhaps not necessarily personal confidence in Denethor exactly, but just, I mean, people had been fleeing, of course. Obviously, part of it is just that, like, the city had been half evacuated, right, by then. And so it was, you know, that sort of was like the grimness of and depopulation of Minas Tirith. But even without that, I do suspect that there was, you know, that there was more to it. Uh-oh, I feel the life leaving this forest. Well, except for that guy, apparently. Such a chill, oh no, he swooned. Oh, would you, enough with you, Mr. Tree. The destruction that followed Duskleaf's defeat is known to Ents and men alike. Oh, Huorn, get out of it. Okay. Okay. I'm like, what is going on here? I was put back into the session play? Am I stuck being Núrzum permanently? Oh, man. Anyhow, so I do think that I don't necessarily think that the whole population of Gondor was necessarily, you know, greatly decreased. No hobnanigans, thanks. Ooh, I got a new title. Friend of the Deep Woods. Excellent. And that's for my quest deed, probably? Okay. Learning of such things has brought a great sadness to me, Gryfflet. Núrzum's destruction did not end there, as you have long known. He rampaged through the forest floor, cutting a frozen scar through those hapless trees. Yet even when he left the forest, the wounds he dealt to our lands would not be quick to mend. Duskleaf was always quick to act, but in the face of such an evil, he also proved himself the bravest of us Ents. We cannot allow his sacrifice to wither upon the frozen earth here. To not involve ourselves in such a dire matter, would be a disgrace to Duskleaf's memory and the good of this forest. If the Orcs yet linger in these woods, we must drive them out. Okay. Núrzum, Brundoron as one? How can such things be? What twisted magics could have wrought such a monster? Such things defy nature. I am grateful that abomination has strode from the forest, but if he returns, our numbers are few and our choices fewer. But what of the Orcs? All of the havoc you have found, so much of it remains because of Núrzum's assault. His Orc allies simply cannot match his destruction. Their roadway, I wonder what has become of it, especially to the northwest, whence their kind first came. Search the roadway and follow it to its end. I am curious what remains of their force. For my part, I will travel to meet you outside the southern edge of their camp. I doubt they will notice me among the other trees nearby. Okay. Now I'm thinking if I remember correctly, because I did complete the epic through here once before. When I'm talking to Leaflock, that's the end game of this whole sequence, right? So I should complete all of these Ent related landscape quests prior to completing the Leaflock quest, right? That's what as far as sequencing, that's what I'm thinking. It's hard. I know they do such a good job of doing the epic quests and kind of keeping them connected with the landscape quests and everything. But I know they're not like linearly connected. So it's easy to kind of get them detached, as I've already accidentally done once or twice here. I'm trying to figure when I need to jump back to the Leaflock quest. But I think probably I should finish this line first. Oh, wait, hang on. Closer than I thought I was. Oh, here we go. A few stragglers burning wood trolls, but a larger force is absent. Okay. I love Nurzum's frozen footsteps. Okay. Old dead Huorns. Signs of a battle litter the road with the slain Huorn looming over its kills. Oh, right. I didn't see its kills at first. Okay, right. The Orcs killed a Huorn. That was killing them. How far up am I? Getting there. Oh, okay. Back to the wooden steps. And then that gate that Núrzum almost got tangled up in, awkwardly. Okay, right, Pine Leaf, thanks. So, doing Ents first, but the follow-up should be after the epic. Right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to completely finish Wildemore. It's tricky. Trying to put the narrative together, right? I'm trying. Gryfflet's job is to partake of the whole story of Lotro. All of the narrative and story and quest lines. So I'm trying to get the full story. Who's this guy? Isengard Overseer. Well, I guess there's my answer. The White Hand's holdings in the Balewood, a grim camp of orcs built atop Brundoron's what? Shattered roots. Drew Vadokon. All right. Okay, talk to Baralas. The roving spotlight. I've never been a fan. Okay, Baralas, what do you think? Not only are they still here, but they build their terrible structures atop Brundoron's remains. These monsters know nothing but destruction, and spite our kin in these lands at every turn. Can we sit idly by as they continue to tear apart our home? The others and I have thought on this matter, and we will march to their camp and force them from the forest. As for you, little one, their numbers remain great, and we do not know if more will come to aid them in time. Return to their camp and slay many of their number. We shall meet you nearby and make our assault once you have slain as many as you see fit. Oh, so I get first dibs? That's nice. Such things are moving too quickly for me. The others are right. This trespass cannot continue. All right. So Wait. You have another quest? A last for Brundoron. Oh, did I not accept it? The Orcs seek to master this forest, then. I have seen the smoke rising on the hill once your return and fear... Wait, huh? I have seen the smoke rising on the hill since your return and fear for... Oh, he had multiple quests. Right on. Okay. Fear for what time may bring us. The smiths you saw, without question, are the cause of such evil doings. Their fascination with the flame and their handiwork that leads only to the death of my kin cannot continue. I would ask that you return to their camp, slay the smiths, shatter their tools, and smother the fires. Okay. Anything else, Barlas? We're good? Okay. All right. Smiths, overseers, orcs, orc fires, forges. Can do. Okay. Let's see. Is that overseer? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so gonna be a lot of combat here. Okay. More questions. Any comments on the new Amazon castings? No, I actually have not had much chance to look at them yet. I saw that it was announced, was interested to hear that there was news, but I haven't gotten to examine them yet. Anything particularly shocking or interesting that I should be prepared for when I get a chance to look at that? What's this? A fire pit? Oh, I see. Well, that should be easy with all the snow about. Well, there's an orc hiding behind it, but he's very shy. Oh, it's one of the smiths. Look, I'm standing right here and he doesn't even notice me. Oh, hang on. What's this? Supplies? Oh, dear. What? Okay, now he noticed me. Okay, let's see. Lenny Harris is going to be in it. I don't know Lenny Harris. Do we have any hope left that the Amazon thing is going to be a good show? Yes, I have hope left. I'm always full of hope. Okay, what was I doing with these supplies? Why are they... Oh, because I didn't accept the quest yet. You have encountered crates of vile tools and disgusting orc rations. Without these crucial supplies, the orc forces of Wildemore would be crippled. Oh, what are they going to do without their disgusting rations? Okay. Blah. Nasty. It was like stepping on a puffball. Okay. More supplies. More forges. Okay. Yeah, no, I am ever full of hope. I'm ever full of hope. I mean, many of you will remember that I didn't give up on the Hobbit films until I was absolutely forced. It wasn't until the third one came out that I gave up hope that it would go well, or, you know, like recover itself. Oh, look. I have a tent quest. Okay. Dismantle the tents, but burning tents is my specialty. Okay. Tomas, I would be careful. Remember that everything that you've been reading about the nudity and whatnot is all speculation based on a few pieces of circumstantial evidence. Now, there's some fairly strong evidence that they're thinking about that, obviously. So I'm not, trying to downplay it. But again, don't forget that what you're reading is speculation. So I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt until, I'm sort of compelled otherwise. We'll see. We'll see what we see in the end. I have I think it would be a terrible mistake. For them to do that. I've even tried to tell them so. But anyway, we'll see. I'm as I say, I'm not going to make any assumptions or draw any rash conclusions until I actually see the show itself. Because remember that stuff that you're reading on the internet is going to be primarily written by people who are trying to get people to click on things on the internet. So a lot of the speculation has been pretty sensationalized in an attempt to rouse indignation, because indignation leads people to click on articles. So I want to be careful in my own conclusions about it until we see what the evidence actually suggests. Okay, all right, I finished the supplies. That's good. And I successfully dismantled tents. Great. I was not given any brief for corruptors specifically, and I think I'm done with overseers. I still have a couple fire pits? Yeah. Boy, these orcs are really patient. Here's the other fire pit. You couldn't even interrupt me, man. That was funny. Okay. All right. Now I just have a couple random orcs. And then I'm done. All right, I choose you guys. Oh, there we go. Sorry, hit the wrong button there. Okay. Excellent. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I was looking at some of the other questions. Okay. They should have done the Children of Huorn instead. Look, Tomas, I have long thought that the Children of Huorn is the most perfect, like, made for movies story that Tolkien wrote. I mean, like, it is perfect. It would make an excellent feature film. But they don't have the rights to it. I'm pretty sure they don't have the rights to it. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see about the show. Again, I'm ready to be patient. I'm ready to be patient. Okay. Oh, Tony has a Dante question. I might save that one, Tony. Is it done? Such things are unfit for this forest. It is good that the orcs' makings will no longer hew and burn my kin. So many have been lost. Perhaps it is time for us at last to stand against them. But you want to have more discussion first, huh? Uruks and orcs, you say? They are both still small to us, my friend. I only hope their flames remain doused. Without that, things may go unfortunately. All right, let the Ents reclaim the wood. Agreed. You have done much to cripple the vile designs of these orcs, little one. Before I strode here, I spoke with the others. Even now they travel to meet us here. They, like me, had grave concerns for the flames and tools of the orcs, but you have put a stop to those. And now it is time we put a stop to the orcs. Let us travel into their camps. Okay, agreed. All right, let's push the orcs from the lands. Woohoo!
Repulsed by the destruction the White Hand and Núrzum have caused in the forest, the Ents of Balewood march to war.
Yeah. We go to war, to hew the stone and break the door. I love that poem. It is in the top 25% easily of my favorite poems in The Lord of the Rings. I love the rhythm of it. We go to war, to hew the stone and break the door. It's the most emphatically iambic poem in The Lord of the Rings. Right? I mean, there's no mistaking the rhythm of that poem, right? You'd have to be completely deaf to not get the rhythm of that poem. For bowl and bough are burning now, the furnace roars, we go to war. To land of gloom with tramp of doom, with roll of drum, we come. Oh man, like every line, it's so good. Okay, sorry, apologize, Barlas. That's a little spoiler from your future there, Barlas. We've traveled far, and the time has come, for us to reclaim our forest. The others have journeyed here and should be arriving soon. Of course, if Tithanolf has fallen asleep again, I could not speak to where he might be. Barlas appears to be lost in thought for a moment before remembering he's speaking to you. I think I hear their approach. Let us hope it is them. There they come. All right, there's everybody. Almost everybody. Oh, there's everybody. Okay, all 5 of you. Great. Come on, Tithanolf. There he is. The last Ent has arrived. I see the first of their kind just outside their camp up the road. Let us bring our branches crashing down upon them. Okay, stomping action. Okay. These orcs have cut down our brethren and laid waste to our forest. Their camp will return to the earth through our helping, but they cannot hew another tree amidst our indecision. We must march against them unless they take everything that remains. Okay. Come, my friends, let us put their violence to an end and push them from these woods with more violence. With superior violence. All right. Go get 'em, boys. Oh, here you go. Bet you didn't see this coming. I'm back with my friends. Voskor won't like this. You lot hold them back. I'll warn Voskar and the others. I'm going after you. I'll take out the corruptor. Oh, 2 corruptors. Oh, that's bad news. The double corruptor thing. I'm helping! Boy, they're really taking a while. You guys need some help? Guess you do. Boy, that's all the damage they've managed to do? Hey, you killed an orc. Good job, guys. Okay. We're moving in. Yeah, I'm going to take down the corruptor. Where'd he go? Did I kill him already? Can't even tell. Yeah, these Ents are dramatically underpowered. It really is true. I think, I don't know, maybe they're trying to, like, wanting to keep me involved, right, to give me something to do, but really, I would have been perfectly content in this instance to just watch the Ents rip through this camp like nobody's business. Well, some of them are running away. At least is sensible. The glow of flames can be seen in the distance. Enough! You cursed trees, leave me be or I'll burn you to the ground. Stay back. Oh, you remember me? You were there when that tree threw me into the woods. You stole that tasty man flesh right out of my hands. Oh, I remember you now. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not calling them to save me. I'm helping them, and they need more help than it looks like, really. This time we won't be so lucky. My flames will sear you and your friends. After I feast on what remains of you, I will cut and burn every last tree of this miserable forest. All right, let's see how that turns out. Oh, hang on. I seem to be stunned. Winter will never end. Okay. No. That Ent. Yikes. Okay, there we go. The Orcs will trouble us no longer, my bold friend. Let us return to Stonecliff and enjoy this peace. Okay. You have proven yourself a bold ally. The Ents and I will push any that return to the woods from these lands. The Orcs will never again have a foothold in our forest, and you have aided us greatly, little one. Such action is not usual for my kind, but these times are strange indeed. If you would wait before returning to the men of these lands, I have more yet to say. Okay. I'm ready to listen. A great weight has been lifted from these branches, little one. The Orcs have been pushed from our lands, and they shall never again defile this forest. Not while the others and I remain. I believe the Orcs will soon come to understand how long we have wandered these woods. Your aid in depriving the Orcs of their flames and axes will allow us the chance to defeat them, and you have all of our thanks. You will always be welcome in these woods, little friend. Before you return to your fellows and lead them from the forest, the others would like to speak to you. Mossbeard and Núrzum have asked to speak to you. I do not doubt the others have much to say, but I would imagine that you shall be back in the lands you call home before they can decide on what needs to be said. Okay. All right, Núrzum. You have done much to aid the Ents, Gryfflet. Yet we must never forget the cost of these times, and what Nurzum has taken from us. The monster's corruption may as well have slain Duskleaf the day he came to this forest. When you came upon him, his mind had been stripped bare, and his fury over the forest's fate consumed him. You and the men of these lands cannot be blinded by Nurzum's foul influence. He must be put to an end, for such a creature stands in stark defiance of all that is good and natural in this realm. As with the others, you have my thanks for freeing us from the Orcs and their leader, but the greatest threat to us all still lurks beyond this wood. Go with haste, little one. Perhaps when Nurzum falls, you will find us here again. Maybe. Do have to go take care of Nurzum. Hey, Mossbeard. You are a very strange hobbit, my friend. To be reunited with the others and to have solved some mysteries of this destruction has brought me some measure of hope for what the future brings. Nurzum must be stopped. The others will not follow me in this, but you must see him slain and the stone destroyed. Baralas knows well of what might be used in his defeat now, but I will leave such explanations to him. Know this, little one, you have shaped the lands of men and Ents for years to come through your actions. As strange fellows as we may be, I would be glad to look upon you again. May your journey bode well, my friend. Oh, thanks, Mossleaf. I think you're swell, too. I see you have spoken to the others. They seem upset to see you leave, as am I. There is, however, the matter of Nurzum. As you may recall, when we first met, I told you that Strongroot spoke of a horn that greatly frightened the Huorns of these woods. As Nurzum is both giant and Huorn, so may he find himself torn asunder, both in mind and body, by the blaring of such a horn. Really? I cannot be certain if this will bode true for him, but stranger things I have seen in these past days. Tell the men of these lands, and perhaps they, out of all of us, can finally stand against him. Go, my friend, return to the men you found lost in these woods. We shall hold back the wood trolls long enough for them to escape. May our paths cross in brighter days. Okay. Although he does not wish to involve himself in matters beyond the trees, Baralas bids you farewell and hopes that Nurzum will be defeated. Agreed. Okay. Should I help the men to escape first, or go to Leaflock first? Leaflock? Hologram? Okay. I'll do Leaflock. Okay. All right, let me queue up a lore question for my trek across the woods here. Getting towards the end of time. Let's see. I feel like I should ask a question from last time. Okay, Squirrel was asking last time. We see some wizards chat with animals and Kraban with dwarves and stuff. I mean, the ravens with the dwarves. Are there any more relations between animals and humanoids in the Lord of the Rings? And or what makes a specific animal or person able to communicate with them? Well, okay. So that's really interesting. One thing to keep in mind is that, okay, so the thrush and the ability of the House of Girion to understand the thrush is very fairy tale-esque, isn't it? Doesn't that seem very much like the kind of thing that would happen in a fairy tale? Where, like, it is, it is discovered that the people who are, the son of this descendant is, for some inexplicable reason, like some magical reason, apparently, because Bard had never studied thrush language, right? He was never taught thrush language by anyone. He just, being who he is, finds himself able to understand the thrush, whereas, for instance, Bilbo could make nothing of it, right? So I get that's very fairy tale, which is what The Hobbit is. The Hobbit is a fairy tale. Now the ravens, of course, are a little bit different in that the ravens they speak English, right? The ravens talk. So that says something about them, not something about the people who can understand them. Oh man, Leaflock looks like not only asleep but kind of hungover. Anyway, so I mention that because this is one of the major kind of atmosphere things that changes in The Lord of the Rings, right? Tolkien really did shift genres as he was approaching The Lord of the Rings. And the number one difference is that he began focusing more on consistent world building and on the, sort of tying together of all of the stories historically. And by all the stories, of course, I mean his earlier legendarium as well. So you won't find that same kind of thing in The Lord of the Rings. That is somebody like Bard, the heir of Girion, who, because he is the heir of the king and from this line of kings, can magically understand thrushes. Like, that kind of thing doesn't happen in The Lord of the Rings anymore. But that doesn't mean that there aren't special people who can talk to animals, or there aren't special animals who can understand the speech of men, like Shadowfax, right? Shadowfax and Gandalf being two examples. Gandalf, of course, with bird on bough and beast in den in their own secret tongues he spoke, as says, well, at least Frodo claims that in his song, right? His eulogy. So, anyway, that's, and of course there are thinking foxes, Phil, right? But see, again, even the thinking fox is a relic of the time when the sequel to The Hobbit was in the same mode, right? And we don't get any more thinking foxes. We have no idea what the foxes of Rohan and Dunland are thinking, right? Not to mention of Minas Tirith. So anyway, that's, once he began thinking that way, we don't, all we see as far as talking beasts or communication with beasts are, again, from like special beasts or special people. And of course you have the relationship that the Rohirrim have with their horses. But again, it is not what anyone would call magical, I don't think. It's just kind of a cultural thing. So we don't see very much of that once we get into the Lord of the Rings proper, because of the way that he changes the genre there. So either the animal has to be special to communicate. He's not, beyond adding that element to the story. But again, we get it, but we get it very little, right? I mean, of course, we have the eagles, but they're different. And I'm trying to think if there are other examples. Nothing else is coming to me of other examples of communication with beasts. Yeah. You politely greet the Ent, and nothing happens for a long time. Eventually, a baleful eye slowly looks at you. It's exactly like me waking up. You introduce yourself as Gryfflet and ask him for his name. More long minutes passed. Leaflock. Breathe the leaves in the canopy. You ask if he knows of Núrzum the giant, and the baleful eye ponderously swings closed. This may take longer than you expected. Is he becoming tree-ish? I think he's becoming tree-ish. At least that's what Treebeard's theory is going to be, Corridon.
It may take some work to wake him to our need.
Right. So the good news is we found an incredibly old Ent, but the bad news is that it's going to take a while to wake him
Engage
up.
the Orcs in combat, and the din may waken our sleeping friend.
Okay. Noisily combat the Orcs. Okay. I'm running out of time. Actually, I think I'm just going to stop here. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We will begin by waking up Leaflock next week. That will be fine. Okay. Good. Awesome. Hey, thanks everybody for all of your questions today. Really fun discussions today, and I made progress here. I'm just about done with the Balewood landscape quests, which means I'm pretty much done with the Wildemore landscape quests. We're getting close to the end of Wildemore here. Almost ready to move on to Western Rohan. Very exciting. Think I'll do it next time? Think I can finish up? Maybe? Wildemore? I don't know. Maybe. But I didn't do much in the High Knolls. Well, I guess I did. There's not many flags up there. Anyway, yeah, cool. Well, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do next time. At least in the next two, perhaps, we might be able to finish up. Very cool. So we'll be done with Wildemore by the Christmas break. I will have to take a couple weeks off around Christmas time. But let's see. What's today? We should get two more Fridays before then. So yeah, hopefully we should be able to finish up Wildemore by Christmas, and then we'll come back in the new year and cross the river and head over towards Edoras. So pretty cool. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today, and I look forward to more adventures next week. Thanks everybody. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.